It is Saturday, April 27th, 2019. We're going to do Bitcoin technical analysis today, looking at the RSI, on balance volume, and MACD indicator. We're going to take a look under the hood to see if these top formations are a stage being set to higher prices, or are we going to see a big correction and the price pull back? This is the 24 hours of Bitcoin. You can pause the video to read through the disclaimer. It's not financial advice, just market observation. Or you can click on a link in the description below for more details of our disclaimer. Let's jump in and see what happened in the last 24 hours. A whole bunch of not much. RSI said about the same thing as we went along since yesterday's spike down. We can see a good bunch of selling volume here in the on balance volume, but a trickle of positive throughout, and then a little swath of selling here at the tip end as we are seeing prices fading back a little bit. When we take a look at the MACD indicator, it certainly showed the move as prices dumped here yesterday. But then it's also going pretty sideways and not much indication of what it's telling us just in this short-term view. But when we start to zoom out and we're looking at all four of the markets, there starts to be some patterns that we can see here. The most important pattern for me is the uptrend and drop, uptrend and drop, uptrend and drop, uptrend, and we are right at the very tip point where a drop could occur. So as we're going sideways, it's closer and closer to certainly making a decision. The key thing for me is that it's happening also in Ethereum, where we're having the trend up and a drop, trend up and a drop, drop. This feels like a slinky going down the stairs, and there are more stairs down, it feels like, by this chart pattern. It is a 1, 2, 3 top formation. We've got the break below the wedge. It is definitely bearish, although now if you're holding a long position here, you might be rationalizing, well, you've got 3 bottoms right here. That's pretty good. It's on old support and resistance. It is pretty good, but a crack below these levels will be pretty catastrophic. When we look at Litecoin prices over here, we're seeing the similar trend up and crack, trend up, crack, crack. So are we going to see a larger one that's going to finally release, like the pre-tremors before the big earthquake? Or is this going to start turning and staging and holding along these trend lines here now? Similar, again, we can see here in XLM, which is why it's bringing such an alert to me, is that there is still room for Ethereum to trace back. There's room for Bitcoin to trace back. There's lots of room below these markets here for them to do a significant pullback to 4,400, 4,600, and it wouldn't affect the overall long-term change of trend. That would be a normal, natural up and pull back. It would be resetting everything. And if it did come back and stage above these levels, that would be cementing in the long-term trend. So for those long-term holders, there's no real worry. But for those people who are trading short or trading long up at the top here, then it is more of a high risk. So as always, it's your risk control rules that likely save you the most. Now, I want to zoom back on the Bitcoin price chart. Let's go to the 3-month view and see what we're seeing in these divergences. Are we seeing bearish or bullish divergences? So we're seeing higher lows, and the RSI is not a happy bull indicator for me. Let's go to the 3-month view clean this up. We are seeing descending volume, descending on balance volume here. We said stronger volume, less strong at this third point. So for me, that feels like that the bulls are losing strength overall, and though it's a valiant effort and they're doing well, it's bound to be pulling back, it feels like to me, by these indicators here. How about the MACD? This one's a little bit more bullish, but slipping at the end here. So it's crossed over and not showing a turnaround that it's catching strength here and going to be building up. Not yet. It feels like it's going to be pulling back. Now, let's do the same thing now and go back to Ethereum. No, let's go Ethereum, the real Ethereum. 3-month view. What I'm looking for here is, does the RSI give us any bullish divergence here at all? And it's not jumping out at me as a bullish divergence. So now I want to go to Ethereum, BTC, looking at the on balance volume, and that's not a happy sign. We've got less positive all the way along here. So that also is not looking good for Ethereum. Let's zoom out to the 1-day view on this. Not a happy sign for an overall accumulation of Ethereum in this on balance volume. Now let's go look at Ethereum and you look at the MACD indicator. It's also looking negative where we've got the green below the red. That's on the 12-hour bar. Zooming out to the 1-day bar, that's not looking happy. It doesn't give me the feel that this is catching and turning around. We'll have to compare it to other bottoms and see how this is going, but still feels weak to me when I'm looking at it this way. Next, let's go through Litecoin. 3-month view to start off with. The RSI is not giving me a divergence that feels bullish. It doesn't give me a stronger setup in the RSI. It's oversold, but not feeling like it's turning around. It's Litecoin with the on balance volume. We're looking at the 1-day bar, and this is better, except at the end. Let's go into the 3-month view and zoom in. So it's not looking as bad as some of the others. It's got some good steady buying, and then it's just easing off a little bit, it seems, but not looking bullish right at this time. Now we're looking at the first bullish turnaround sign, the crossover here that we could have seen in any of these, which is kind of freaking me out. This isn't looking too good here either. So let's continue. That's Litecoin, Ethereum, and I want to do XLM. Also, while it looks very oversold down here, and it should be because it's in a downtrend, at that lowest part of a downtrend, it should be very oversold. Zooming into the 12-hour, it's not giving me any kind of bullish divergence here. Let's go into XLM. 3-month view, lots of selling, buying, but selling overall for this last while, not looking like a happy chart. And this is the 12-hour view. Let's do the 1-day view, still unhappy. No big turnaround in the, we've got a whole bunch of better altcoin charts than these, that's for sure, even though they're diving. XLM, we'll be doing more of a report on that. And XLM is still not looking good. If I go to the 1-year view of this, so we're looking at the daily chart, this doesn't have enough data. I'm going to have to just quickly go to Poloniex and pull up STR, which is the same market, but different name. There we go, loading up here now. We can see that this has no support and resistance in history, pretty much way back at these levels. We can still come back a great deal in this market. So it doesn't have any kind of support built up here at all. It's breaking to a new number 1 point at the bottom. The histogram is not looking good. The on balance volume is not looking good. Pretty bearish signs overall. And then when we combine that with the markets all making this formation at the very same time, all of these top formations at the same time, you got to pay attention to it. Now, the last thing I want to close up with is our study of all of the coins on Binance. We're studying the bullishness and bearishness of all of them. So I went through all of them and I added them up, and we have 50 markets that passed, 50 out of the 150 markets on Binance. That means that they did not yet break down below their 1, 2, 3 bottom formations that they have been making since, I don't know, September or of last year or December of last year. So quite a long time frame to see if they have broken down below those lows, and the 50 markets have not yet. They're still okay. 49 markets, however, are at a warning. That means they are very close to breaking down below those previous lows. That's very bearish. And 45 of them have already failed and broken down below the previous lows. That is up 11 new markets in the last 2 days that have broken down. 8 new markets have failed out of, dissolved out of the pass zone and went down into warning. And a total of all of the, from the pass and warnings, 11 of them have slipped down to fail in the last 2 days. I'll repeat this study and we'll continue to monitor how far down we go so that we can see when is the bottom and when are we springing up? But certainly for now, this isn't looking very bullish to me at all. I think that we are going to be coming back. Say, how far back? I can hear you asking. Bitcoin US dollar, it is a complete horoscope, but I'm going to pull up, what do they call, the Fibonacci. It's a complete horoscope. That means you can read any horoscope and it fits to your life, pretty much. So 50% level is always where my horoscope goes. And I wanted to consolidate and make a new 1, 2, 3 bottom. And then it gives me a point where I can actually take another trade entry. So if I had gotten in back here, I wouldn't be sweating at all. I would have my stop just above my entry and I'd be just sitting on my hands and singing a happy tune. If I got in up here, I don't want to be holding on to it while it's doing all of this indecision. I want to wait for it to give me a bottom, a 1, 2, 3, and then show me that point of entry. And those of you who have been watching, you know that I'm always talking about 2 different points of entries out of your consolidation pattern. You can have the breakout, which everybody's doing, and it always gets kicked back to a fake out breakout and hits your stop losses. So there's all sorts of those going on and killing all sorts of people. It's a common thing for new traders to get eaten up this way, and it's mathematical. So the only way to avoid that is to wait instead of buying on the breakout. Wait for it to come back and retest these levels. If it fails below, well, good, you didn't have to do anything anyway. But if it starts to break higher, there's the point to get a nice clean entry on a trade and then see. Only hold it if it proves you correct. Good theory. Now let's wish you best of luck in all of your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trading. I'm very grateful for all the people who are subscribing and coming back every day. Look forward to reading your comments down below the videos every day and replying to them. Cheers and all the best in your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trading.